All right, welcome back. Today we are going to be talking about the whole Ayesha Curry debacle. If you haven't seen it, heard about it, I'm going to show a video. I'm going to react to it. But before we get started, be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you're notified each and every time I upload a new video. Also, if you want to work with me, if you go down into the description box, we can book a paid consultation. But with all that being said, let's go ahead and get this show started.
Did you always knew you wanted a big family?
No. So I didn't want kids. I didn't want to get married. I thought I was going to be career girl and that's it. And I had my eyes set on my goals, and I was never the little girl that like dreamt about the wedding dress and all of that. And then it happened so early in my life. So it's like, it's one of those things like you don't know what you actually don't know what you want.
It's so hard also to be the woman in a situation where you're like, men just don't get as much scrutiny. Like they can maybe tell him like your fucking shots suck tonight, but like the looks and all of that is just like not a factor of conversation as much.
No.
Did you talk to Steph about it? Like, or did you kind of keep it within yourself so it didn't?
I do not have a bone in my body that can keep anything to myself. So if it comes to mind, it's coming out. And he's so gracious. Like he tries to resonate with me, but he just can't. And he also comes from a place of like, it's effing stupid. Like, it's not true. So why? And I'm like, but wait, like, listen to how it makes me feel. And he's like, but why does it make you feel like that? It's not real. After we got married, we found out we were pregnant with our daughter so quickly. I didn't even have time to think about what I wanted anymore. It's so interesting. I spent my entire life like trying to work towards something, and then it kind of just disappeared, and I didn't think twice about it. But after my daughter turned 1, I remember there being a shift and being like, I have goals for myself. Like, this doesn't feel right. I love being a mom, but I love doing other things too. And I need to get my shit together and figure out what that looks like for myself now.
If I have a career and I'm not home, like did you experience that?
I still experience that. I still experience that. I'm always in therapy talking about this. If you lose all of those things that were interesting about you.
All right, so this might surprise a lot of people, but this isn't that big of a deal. It can become a big deal if it goes unaddressed. She mentioned that she's in therapy, so I hope that continues therapy and she can, her and Steph get therapy together. It can, like I said, it can become a big deal. I was a little bit surprised at the reaction let me take that back. I'm not surprised at the reaction because this is a woman talking about this, but men say this all the time, right? This is also not just a woman thing. Do people not have midlife crisis anymore? Right? That's basically what this is. Even in relationships, might feel like the relationship or their life doesn't look like the way that they had pictured it at some point in time. Now, in this situation, she's basically saying that she wanted to be a career woman. She didn't expect that she would ever have kids, those sorts of things. Now, we have to be careful because obviously you do have kids now. There's a certain responsibility, those sorts of things that you now have. But there's a lot of different things about her life that she doesn't have to give up. And this is and part what's beautiful about relationships, but also this is what can make relationships challenging. We are constantly evolving as people, right? And we have to understand that even though we are in a relationship, it's important to understand that it's two individuals within one relationship. So some of the things that she actually mentioned was kind of like losing herself in a relationship. A lot of people don't know this. People always talk about losing themselves in unhealthy and toxic relationships. You can lose yourself in a healthy relationship. They're doing very well financially, have a very beautiful family and things like that. you can lose yourself if you have lost sight of your purpose, so to speak, right? The things that you wanted to accomplish in life. Now, in this situation, this is something that's very common in situations like this, where two people get married very young. A lot of times you see this in where people get married, in their late teens, early 20s. Certainly nothing wrong with that for some people, but we also have to understand that even though you're doing things right, there are certain risks that come with that, because when you do that, and if you really don't have a good identity to who you are, right, and even if you do, a lot of times that can change. You can wake up and you can feel like this, right? Both men and women can at times feel like this isn't where I thought that I would be at 30, 35, 40 in life. And the reason why I say this isn't a big deal, but it can become one, the reason why it isn't a big deal is because, like I said, this has the possibility of happening in any relationship, right? We're constantly evolving. One person might decide that they don't like the job that they work at anymore, and that they always wanted to open up a business, or one person decides that they want to lose a lot of weight and they want to start going to the gym and those sorts of things. You have to understand that any change in the dynamic can change and has an impact on everyone in that relationship. So if she decided that she wanted to go be a career woman, that's going to have an impact on the entire relationship, not only with Steph, but also with the children. It doesn't necessarily have to impact it negatively, right? But we do have to understand that, let's just say for a second that she's a stay-at-home mom. I don't know if she is or not. But let's say that is the case, and she decides that she wants to go work outside the home. That's going to have an impact on everyone. Now, where a lot of people get scared, right, in situations like this, is that they feel a sense of responsibility to the entire family. But you also have to understand that there's a sense of responsibility that you have for yourself, too. You hear people say a lot of times that you can't pour out of an empty cup. This is kind of what that looks like, right? She needs to be fulfilled in this relationship, right? And it can't all be from Steph. For those of you who are watching or listening, I don't care what social media says. This isn't like the latest trending topic that people are gonna say on social media and that sort of thing, right? Because people paint this picture that your significant other should be your everything, which is a lie and impossible. And part of the reason why so many relationships don't last these days. But right now, the way that she's describing, I'm sure there's more nuance that we can go into if we were talking, or those sorts of things. But if she needs more fulfillment from outside sources in terms of being a career woman, in terms of I don't know if she wanted to be an entrepreneur, or if there was a specific career that she wanted to, maybe let's say that she wanted to be an attorney. There's nothing that's stopping her from doing that, but this is a conversation that needs to happen between her and Steph. And some of you watching this might find yourself in this type of situation where you feel like you're not fulfilled and there's something that you've always wanted to do. Now, of course, there's a lot of things that, at certain points in our life that we might have to actually give up. If you're 45 years old and you thought that you are always going to make the NBA, probably not going to happen anymore, right? But there's other ways that you might be able to find fulfillment by staying close to the game, getting involved in college. Maybe you can become a ref, those sorts of things. But it is important that you find fulfillment within yourself, even within the confines of a relationship, and that is possible. And you also have to give yourself permission to change, but also this has to be something that can and should be worked in unison and in the comfort with your partner, if at all possible, right? And if it's not possible, that's a whole different type of conversation. With that being said, thank you guys very much. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. My name is Matthew Pfeiffer, and be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you're notified each and every time I upload a new video. If you want to work with me, if you go down into the description box down below, you can book a paid consultation. And with all that being said, I will see you in the next video. You guys have a good one.